20% off Truck Stop Load Board Pro for 6 months. The best tool for serious carriers. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to get 20% off Load Board Pro for 6 months. Need capital to grow your business or cover unexpected expenses? Rock Financial has your back. Whether you're looking for a flexible line of credit, a fast cash advance, or tailored working capital solutions, Rock Financial makes it simple to get funded, often in as little as 24 hours. No hidden fees, an easy application, and real support from people who know the business. Ready to take your hustle to the next level? Tap the link in the description to get started with Rock Financial today. Wish insurance was this easy? With LogRock, it's like magic. Real coverage appears when you need it. No tricks. Get covered now. Click the link in the description.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. How's everybody doing? We got 20-some people so far. We got 5 likes. Okie dokie. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Come on in. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. How's everybody doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's get this roll call going on. Matter of fact, let's pay these bills first. Shout out to everybody over at Rock Financial. If you need capital for your trucking business or your business in general, click the link in the description below. Rock Financial. Many products over there at Rock Financial that they have that may benefit you and or your business. Business lines of credit, business loans, so on and so forth. If you need working capital for your business, hit the link in the description below for Rock Financial. If you need truck insurance, link in the description below, LogRock. If you're up for renewal in the next 60, 90, 30 days, you want to shop, see if you can get a better deal, click the link in the description for LogRock. If you're watching this content and you're looking to come into trucking, or you're looking to get into the cargo van business and you need commercial insurance, click the link in the description below for LogRock. All right. How's everybody doing? Make sure you guys come on in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. How's everybody doing? Let's get these roll call out the way real quick. Shout out to SD Walt. What's going on? Shout out to everybody that's part of the shout out to Box Truck Dan. Shout out to Sage. Shout out to who else we got? Shark Life Ventures. What's going on? Shout out to Ayo Marco. Volume a little low in the AirPods. Yeah, a lot of people say when they using AirPods that the volume is low. Can you hear me now? I pulled the mic a little bit closer. Hold on one second. Let me. I don't want to turn the volume up too high. Let me know if that's better. I don't want to peak. Right now, I'm peaking now. I like to keep my levels in the green. With a little yellow. Just a smidget of yellow. Just a little yellow. All right. Is that better? Let me know if that's better. Shout out to Ayo Marco. What's going on? Shout out to Pippi. Shout out to all the moderators. Now, I know that air horn is loud. The air horn be hidden. The air horn level be hidden. Shout out to Box Truck Dan. Box Truck Dan doing good, driving through Nevada towards Boise. area. How you doing today, man? I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Shout out to Belize. What's going on? Shout out to everybody on this beautiful Friday afternoon, July 18th. Half of July is gone already. It just seemed like it was the 4th of July. Seemed like it was just yesterday or a few days ago or whatever, a week ago. July's halfway gone. Time moving quick. Summer will be over before you know it. How's everybody doing? Shout out to Roger Garcia. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? Y'all kids will be going back to school. It'll be time for back to school shopping. You probably going to Walmart, Target right about now. You starting to see them transitioning that seasonal aisle from barbecue grills and summer yard stuff to back to school. Starting to see those back to school pallets roll out and the seasonal aisle at Walmart and Target. All right, so boom, let's get into it. Let's get into it today. Real talk. What is this episode? What is this episode 5? What's this episode 5? Episode 5. You can't keep drivers because you pay crackhead wages. Now, this is something that you know. A lot of people are having a hard time in today's climate keeping workers, right? Because of the mindset, the culture, social media pumping, be on boss. I'm not talking about that. In trucking, it's a different dynamic, right? You got people seat hopping. Everybody's looking to get paid more money. There's plenty of competition, so on and so forth. We're going to talk about all this stuff today. But as I talk to people, and when I'm talking to people and I'm asking them questions, and I ask them what do they pay their drivers, like some of the rates that people pay their drivers and or their helpers or whatever, their staff that's out in the field that's doing the work, it's crazy to me. And I think the reason why is because one, they don't understand business, and two, they don't understand what it takes to maintain a business. All right, so we're going to get into it today, and we kind of I'm getting away from what I was talking about the past 2 days because I think I've made that point clear now, and now I can give you my most inner thoughts in this real talk series that I'm doing, and as it pertains to like other aspects of the trucking industry and just things that I think in the back of my head when I be talking to people that I may not say out loud. I'm very blunt, but I may be articulating something to you when you telling me some goofy shit one way, but in my head I'm articulating it in a different way. So I'm gonna articulate it in a way where my inner thoughts. All right, so I want to get straight to it. Come on in, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. The reason why a lot of box truck people, and I'm gonna stick to just box truck people and cargo van people, be scratching their heads on why they can't keep drivers, why drivers are call off, why drivers will ghost them, why drivers just don't seem to care, why they have a lack of urgency, just they don't take things serious. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you pay them like a crackhead. Yeah, you pay them like a crackhead. Yeah. If you pay somebody like a crackhead, you're gonna get crackhead behavior. You're gonna get crackhead behavior. So I'm gonna give you the uncomfortable truth. And I want it to sink in. I want you to understand what I'm about to say. Shout out to Naju. This is something that don't nobody talk about in the space. Nobody wants to talk about anything as it pertains to their pockets, right? So let's have this real talk. If you can't afford to pay a quality driver, a quality wage, a real wage, you can't afford to be in business. I'm going to say it again. If you can't afford to pay a quality driver, a quality helper, just quality personnel, a quality wage. I keep saying wage. You can't afford to stay in business. A lot of people treat labor costs like it's a leftover expense. No, it should be one of your priority expenses because it's one of the most expensive expenses that you'll have. It's right up there with fuel or more. A lot of you guys, don't know what it's like to operate at scale. A lot of people never get a chance to operate at scale. And this is one of the reasons. If you can't keep a driver, whether you're profitable or not, let's say you're profitable, if you can't keep a driver in the seat of the first truck, you'll never be able to scale to the second truck because you're always having to replace and find a driver for truck one. If you can't afford to pay a driver to keep a driver and or helper, depending on what niche you're in this space, you can't afford to be in business. A lot of people that come into this business with the mindset of passive income because they were sold that dream of false reality by their favorite content creator, you see this happen to them a lot. They think they can go out and buy a truck, and they think that one truck, while they're off still working their career job or sitting at home, and they expect to sit at home or on a beach and drink pina coladas or some shit like that, they think that one truck is going to be able to bring in enough revenue to cover the cost of the business, including the wage of the driver, sustain, and pay them a handsome take-home salary while they do nothing. That was the false sense of reality that a lot of people were sold and are continuing to be sold. Oh, just get a truck. Yeah, trucking is an 800 gazillion billion dollar industry. Look at here's the load board. Look at these loads, man. There's a load from here to there. It's paying $2,800. There's a load from here to there. It's paying this. Man, it's always going to be low. Everything around you came on a truck. And then there's people that are ignorant and they quit their job. They tap into their savings and they go out and they buy this truck and they think that once they hire this driver and put him on the road, follow me now. They think that that one truck is going to be able to bring in enough revenue, right? Cover the cost of the business, the expenses of the business, including the wage of the driver. So the business has to sustain and cash flow. Remember, a lot of your favorite people don't talk to you about this because they don't understand this themselves. The business has to cash flow. No cash flow, no business. So that means after expenses are covered, including the wage of the driver, the business still needs cash flow. It has to profit. And then you expect it to profit enough and be able to pay you to take care of your cost of living, plus all your discretionary spending. Cap. The best thing for a person who goes out and they come into this field initially from the beginning, they should be on the truck themselves. But you can't tell a lot of people that shit nowadays. When you tell them that, when you give them the solution to why they're failing with their one truck, you give them the solution to maximize their earning potential, and you tell them to get on the truck, you become the devil in the flesh. Right? Labor is not a leftover expense. Labor is the expense. Labor is not your gas. It's not your insurance. It's not even the truck note. Your labor, your people, is what actually keeps the wheels rolling. If there's no driver in the seat, truck sits still. Let's talk about this crackhead mindset that a lot of people have when it comes to paying. And I'm just going off of the shit people tell me when they come to me and we talk, and then when I ask them, like, man, what are you paying? And then they tell me these crackhead prices, bro. It's crazy to me. You got a lot of people out here paying people $120 a day. I don't know what the magical, where this 120, like who told people 120 is the magic number, but everybody is this 120. Where y'all get this 120 from? Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that 120 was the magic number? This ain't 2014. This ain't 2015. This ain't 2012. Who told y'all 120 and 130 is the magic number? Who told you $700 a week is the magic number? Where do y'all get this? Like, are these the same people that's telling you 120 and 130 and 700 a week? Are these the same people that are telling you as long as it's $2 a mile, you should be fine? Are these those same people that tell you, hey, as long as it's $2 a mile, it should be fine? Anybody that tells you as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be fine, you should run from. When I see people in these Facebook groups and all this dumb shit, and people be asking for help, and then somebody will leave a comment, well, as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be okay. You don't even know what their cost per mile is. What if their cost per mile is $2.05 a mile? So as long as it's $2 a mile, it's okay. So every time I see that dumb shit, I'm like, you don't even know what it's costing to operate to tell them that $2. Are these the same people that's telling you that? Everybody that comes to me that has an issue with keeping workers, it's 120 or 130 a day or $600-700 a week. So explain this to me. Let's get niche specific. Let's get niche specific. Let's deal with final mile. Final mile. 120, 130 a day for a guy to break his back. I don't care if we talking about the driver or the helper. It don't even matter. 120, 130 a day. Fuck it. Let's just round it up. Let's make the math easy. 150 a day for a guy, day in, day out, from a driver's perspective, to drive the truck, fight traffic, sit in traffic, break his back, deal with customers, risk getting injured, risk pulling a muscle, risk missing a step and falling. And if he misses the step and falls, now you risk a claim, not just an injury, but the claim of whatever he was carrying, because now it's damaged, and this is business. Man, the customer gonna feel bad and say, man, I'm sorry you failed, but man, the dresser that you were bringing up is now damaged. Who's going to replace that? I don't want any. I'm declining it now. It's banged up. And also, who's going to fix the wall, because when the dresser was tumbling down the stairs, it dented the wall. You think 120, 130, 150 a day is cool? From a driver perspective, let's say doing final mile, that's not even adequate for a helper. Here's the thing with the driver, right? Because it's easy to find helpers. It's more easier to find a helper than it is to find a driver, right? Because obviously the driver has to have credentials, right? They have to have a driver's license. The driver never gets a break. When you're doing, let's say, final mile, or you're doing moving, the driver is active. He's carrying stuff in, he's carrying stuff out. 9 times out of 10, the driver is also the team leader on the truck. So this is the person that's interacting with the customers. And then once that job or that stop is done, he has to get back on the truck and fight traffic and navigate to the next stop. The helper and or the helpers on the truck, they get to go in their little lunch pail and eat their little sandwich. You know what I'm saying? They can take them a quick 15, 20 minute or 30-minute nap, depending on the distance and the time distance between the next stop. They could take a nap. They can get on the phone with their girl. They can do a bunch of things. They can look at all the chicks walking down the street and whistle at them, whatever they want to do. The driver still has a duty to drive and make sure that the truck gets to the next stop safely. They still working. So the driver should get paid higher than the helper. Where do you get off paying a driver $120, $130 a day and you expect to keep them? And then you come to me and you brag about this shit. And then you get upset when you don't get the reaction that you expect to get from me. You expect me to give you a high five, and then I J down on you, and then you don't understand why. Or you don't understand why, in another scenario, why you can't keep a driver. The person who think you're getting over on a person, paying them that much, it's only a matter of time before they walk away and leave your goofy ass. You start a business to stay in business. Every time you lose a driver, the truck is sitting. And when the truck sits, you're losing money. OTR, final mile, whatever the case may be. Sticking to niche specific. Final mile, your driver don't show up. Guess what? It's freight on the dock. Now the 3PL calling you, what you gonna do? Nowadays, if you drop a route, they charge you for the route, $1,000. Back in my day, they wasn't doing it. They would scramble to find another master contractor that could recover the route, and then they would pay them. They still do that today, but guess what? The money that they're going to pay them, they're taking it from you. You're still responsible financially for that route. So don't come to me bragging that you taking advantage of someone, because I'm going to tell you the same thing. You're only going to take advantage of them for so long until they wake up and smell the coffee, or they wake up and smell the roses, or to when they get on those docks and they start talking and fraternizing with other drivers of other contractors, and they start telling them what they making, and then those MCs start soliciting your drivers because they paying $50 more a day or $100 more a day. I'm going to tell you why ignorant contractors have this mindset too. You know what I'm saying? When you do this, that's not winning. All right. You ultimately setting yourself up for failure, because your longevity, you're not going to have any. Let me ask you this, because this is what I ask people when they come to me and they have a hard time figuring out why they can't keep nobody, right? And then they tell me they paying crackhead wages, right? I say, would you do that shit for $120, $130 a day? And 100% of the time, people say no. So then my next question is how do you expect somebody to do something that you wouldn't even do? What type of example are you setting? If you're not willing to do it, what makes you think you're going to always find this pool of people that are going to consistently go out and work for these crackhead wages, be loyal to you, come into work, make sure they're uniform, because it goes beyond them, not wanting to do the work. Because when you pay like a crackhead, you're going to get crackhead activity. A person that you pay that accepts crackhead money initially because they don't know better until they find out, they're going to operate like a crackhead, right? Their shirt is going to be disheveled. They're going to come. You're going to give them a brand new shirt the first day, and after a week, they've never put that shirt in any water. The only water that shirt done touched was the sweat and that perspired from their body. They're going to come to work looking disheveled. When they come to work, they're not going to put forth effort. They're not going to treat customers respectfully. They're not going to be mindful of the product. They're not going to be mindful of the consumer's home when they step into it. When you pay people like a crackhead, you get crackhead activity. When you pay people handsomely, things start to change. People take pride more in what they're doing. They think about things before they do it. They respect people. They respect people's homes. They respect people as if they want. They respect people. They give people the respect that they want to receive. They treat people's homes the same way they would want an individual who was delivering something to their home. They treat it the way that they would want to be treated. A person that you treat and you pay like a crackhead, they're gonna come to work every single day with a "I don't give a fuck" mentality. You don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. There's a saying, it's an old saying. Some of you young bucks might not know it. It's called "you get what you pay for." Value is what a person is willing to pay for something. You show a person how much you value them by what you pay them. The same way, if you paid a person handsomely and you're paying a person handsomely and you don't get the results, right, for the type of value that you're paying someone, what's the first thing you're going to do? If you're paying a person handsomely and you're not getting the results, you're not getting the work ethic, you're not getting the value isn't equal to what you're paying this individual, what do? What do? You get rid of them. Are you going to show up hard or show up to work every day and work hard, hustle hard, put your reputation on the line? In some cases, risk getting injured, go above and beyond for a owner, right? For $120 a day? What motivation are you going to get from that? I'm going to tell you a secret, and I've said this before on the channel. And this holds more value in today's time than it did even in my time, but I'm ahead. I'm always ahead of the curve. And I was thinking like this 15 years ago. Why? Because I was once a person that punched the clock and came to work. I remember when I was working at Target, right? I was a stock manager there. There wasn't a morning that I woke up that I just didn't that I did not sit on the edge of the bed and say, "Yo, do I really want to go into work today?" Like, I hated that shit, bro. I hated it with a passion. Now, I'm not a person that doesn't like work, right? Because when I worked at the Gap, I didn't mind going there. I liked the job. It was a cool job, great discount. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't like Target. I didn't like the culture. I didn't like the store that I was at. I didn't like my coworkers. I didn't like the management team. I knew they didn't like me. I just hated going there. But I'm not stupid, right? I wasn't going to quit a job. I would rather them fire me, right? So the time period that I would sit and waste because I just dreaded going to that job, I wasn't motivated. So when I woke up, I wasn't moving with a sense of urgency like an individual that needed to be there at 8 o'clock. And most times I was a little late. Why? Because I'm contemplating every day and I'm dragging my heels because I did not want to be there. I felt like the shit that I was doing was not worth it to me at that particular time. Right? So I always carried that thought into how I treated and paid people, right? I'm running a moving company and a final mile company. I know the severity if a truck doesn't show up to a move. If it's peak moving season and it's on top of it being peak moving season, it's the peak time of the month. Most people's leases end the last day, the first day of the month. right? So the last week of the month of every month during peak moving season is busy, especially June 30th, July 1st, August 1st, July 30th, July 31st. People, all those last cluster days is really, really busy because that's when people's leases end, either the last or the first day. Though their leases are up. So that means they have to be gone. I cannot not show up. So I have to ensure, what can I do to ensure that my people every morning when they wake up, they're not like how I used to be when I was working at Target. I want to make sure that I'm paying them good enough that they're motivated to get their ass up and come to work. I don't want pay to be a hindrance. I don't want pay to be the determining factor on if they're going to not show up to work. One, because I need to make money. Two, I don't want to let my consumers down. Same thing with the 3PLs. I need my trucks rolling. If a person don't show up and I got a truck that's sitting and I'm looking at this truck, I got to sit at the yard all day in the office and I look out and the yard there's no reason at 11 o'clock in the morning I shouldn't see no trucks. If there's a truck sitting, and if it's sitting because a driver didn't show up and I couldn't send nobody else for whatever reason, I feel like I had a death in the family. I'm about that money. If I look out and I see a willing and able truck and it's just sitting there and it had work scheduled, but I couldn't see it, send it for whatever reason, the driver didn't show up, I couldn't find nobody else, I can't cover it because I'm in the office, I'm cross-docking at this time, so I need to be here, whatever the case may be. And I'm looking at this truck that could be making money. I feel like I done had a death in the family. The last thing I would want a person to do is not show up to work because they weren't motivated, because they weren't being paid enough. Another reason a lot of people don't pay people well, especially people that come into this industry from an investment perspective because they were sold this dream, is they've never done the work. See, it's a difference when you get out there and you get your hands dirty and you really understand what the actual physicality of the work entails. And I'm speaking from my niches, moving and final mile. I wouldn't have been able to bring myself to mistreating someone and underpaying them when I know how tedious and how physical and how taxing the job is. I would be a hypocrite. I would be bogus. I'd be bodine. But ultimately, I want my trucks to move, so I need to make sure people are there. So I'm going to pay you handsomely to motivate you to get your ass up and bring your ass to work every day so that that truck can be rolling so I can get that money. A lot of people that are in this industry and they're paying drivers, and I'm speaking from an owner operator perspective, and I understand starting and even just being a small business owner, you don't have the resources of some of your larger counterparts or your larger competitors to be able to also further incentivize and motivate a person to continuously come to work and put in, a great amount of effort for you and your business. For instance, you may not be able to afford to pay for benefits, no 401k, no health insurance. So if you know you can't compete, especially like the OTR guys, you have to remember when you're running a business, and this is where your favorite content creator don't tell you, they don't never explain to you the competitive landscape. You're not competing to keep drivers amongst your peers. And when I say your peers, I'm talking about peers in your same status of entrepreneurship. You're also competing against the mega carriers. You're also competing against um, mid-level companies that have 100 trucks or less. You're also competing against companies that have 50 trucks. You're also competing against people that have 25 trucks. You're also competing against the guy who's a little bit tenured and he has 10 trucks and he needs to keep drivers. You're also competing against the guy who has 5 trucks. You're competing against people who are more tenured, also, not just guys like you. You're competing with people that got a bag of money and resources. They may be paying benefits. They may be paying more a mile. They may be paying $50 or $70 or $100 more a day. What makes you think that you're going to be able to keep the wheels rolling consistently if you pay like a crackhead? It costs money to hire people. Your favorite people don't spit game to you like this. When you hire someone, you don't want to lose them, because when you lose them, it becomes expensive. Truck is sitting. You have to source a new person. When you do find that new person, it costs money to onboard that person. It costs money to train that person. It's cheaper to keep her. It's more beneficial when you hire someone to retain them. You don't want a high turnover. You want to retain people. You don't want low retention. It's cheaper to keep her. I'd rather give a person a raise than lose the person, have to source a new person, onboard the new person, train the new person, because all that shit costs. It'd be cheaper to just give this guy 3%, 5%, $50, whatever the case may be, if it's affordable, to retain them and keep shit flowing. What makes you think someone is going to continue to bust their behind for your business if you pay them like a crackhead when you wouldn't even accept that? It's asinine to me. And I'm going to tell you why. Make sure you come on in, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notification. Why do you think people think like this? I'm going to tell you why people think like this. One is ignorance. They don't know any better. And two, they're trying to squeeze every single dollar out of the business instead of building the business. See, a lot of people that come into the business now, they have this false sense of reality. You can tell they're not business owner, and you can tell they're really not mentored by the right people. You can tell that the people that they probably do listen to haven't really ran a business at scale. They say if I pay more, I make less. Let me tell you something. A lot of people think when they hire a driver, they think that they're supposed to make more than the driver. Who told you that? When they do their little breakdown, whatever their little breakdown is, we know a lot of people don't know what their cost is in this industry. We've proven that over and over again. But when they do their little breakdown, fuel and truck no rental and all, whatever, and then it comes down to, all right, driver pay, because then they have they self in mind too. Okay, I gotta get paid. And let's make the math easy. Let's say it's $300 after cost. All right, so it's $300. Because we remember, these people ain't thinking about cash flow. They don't think about cash flow. So it's $300 left. So I got to make some money and I got to pay my driver. So you know what most people do? They pay their driver $100 and they take $200. Because in their mind, they supposed to make more than their driver. No, that's wrong. If you think that, you a fool, you a goofy. I gotta hit the button on you now. If you thought like that, you's a goofy now. Don't get mad. You a goofy.
Yo, goof ass.
Who told you? Especially if you got one truck, why you think you supposed to get paid more than the driver? Because it's your business? Mm-mm. You invest more so you can scale more. See, what the issue that people don't understand is, this is a business that you make a lot of money at scale. If you decided to you listen to a motherfucker and they told you go get a truck and make passive income and you gonna run up a bag, and you decide to go do the shit and get a truck and put a driver out on the road, you're not gonna if you're doing things the right way, you're gonna make less money than what you pay the driver. If you do things the right way. This is scale business, baby. The money and the lifestyle that they perpetuate, your favorite people perpetuate, it's attainable at scale. One truck isn't going to afford you that lifestyle, especially if you're not on the truck. If there's $300 left, you pay your driver $200 and you take one. Fuck it. If you got to pay your driver $250 and you take $50, so be it. I ran plenty of routes in Final Mile where the company took in less than what just the payroll on the truck, just the payroll expense on the truck. I've ran plenty of routes, but it didn't matter because I have so many trucks operating at scale that it all adds up to a big number at the end of the day. If I'm running a truck, let's say I had a route that was running the Container Store, those stops paid $11 a stop. What do you think I paid the driver? That was a route that I proactively took a loss on. I knew every day we ran Container Store, I took a loss, but I got margins that are great with other accounts. I got other routes running for Select Express that do pay well, that still cover the cost of the loss that we're taking for the Container Store. I can afford to take a loss on that route to keep little Tyler, God rest his soul, off the street and give him a job and give him an opportunity. But then I have other routes that I was profitable on, that my labor costs exceeded what the company took in for profit from that route a day. I never look at it like, no, there's no way I can pay the labor on this truck more than what the company brings in. That's not how business works. I don't look at it. See, people, when they look at it like that, they're looking at it from a personal. They're looking at the individual on the truck or the individuals on the truck and say, no, the company has to make more than them. No, I look at the people on the truck as just labor and it's just a cost. I don't look at them as human beings or individuals. The people that are going out and do the work, it's a line, right? On the debit line, labor. That's it. I don't look at it, Tyler, Rob, X amount of dollars. I look at it as labor cost. How much is it going to cost us in labor to get this job done efficiently and to still be able to profit. If we run a route that pays, let's say, I'm just $750, the way an ignorant business person is going to look at it, they're going to probably think, well, man, I got to at least make $250, $300 out of this. No. If I got a route that's paying $750, $800, and let's say the truck has been paid for, the truck has been recouped, it's a tight route, fuel cost is low, insurance is low, so on and so forth. My labor cost for that route could be in upwards of $450, $500. I could be paying a helper, the driver, $200, $250 a day. I could be paying the helper $175, $200 a day. And I got the blueprint. I've given the blueprint. I actually got a great mentee who's never paid me a dime, because I've never had a mentorship program. But if you watch that earlier content, I broke down the final mile numbers. I broke down my system. And this guy's at 7 trucks in 2 years now? He tells people all the time, just watch this video. Mark broke it down. You follow this video. I watch this video at least once a month. He give you everything you need to know. But if you look at that breakdown, majority of the cost is labor. And I say you need to leave room, because eventually 6 months, 12 months down the line, even though you're paying handsomely, this person is going to come to you for a bump. So you have to leave room for raises. Yes, your profit margin is going to go down. That's the cost of doing business. Who told you that if you have a dedicated route for $750, you're supposed to make $250 or $300? If you walk away with $100 or $150 out of that $750, you're doing good. Well, that ain't enough money. Says who? Who told you you were supposed to get rich with one truck? If you run that route 10 times a day and you profit, your margin, you profit, let's say $100 to $150, let's say $100. Now you're making $1,000 a day. Who told you you were supposed to make a shit ton of money with one truck? This is a scale business. Some people would lose their mind. They just wouldn't be able to hack paying a driver $200, $250 and a helper $175, $200. So let's say $250 to the driver, $200 to the helper. That's $450 out of that $750. So now if you're making $7,500, $150, depending on what your cost is for, let's say, this local final mile route, you wouldn't be able to hack it. Man, I got to pay that much? Yes. A lot of guys that run final mile, they come to me with that $120 shit. That's why you can't keep nobody. That's why your claims is high. That's why people ain't motivated. That's why they don't show up, because they like, fuck it. They can go do something else and make $120 a day. They can go do Grubby Hub or something like that. They can go Grubby Hub and do that. They can go Uber Eats it and make that. And they ain't got to carry nothing. They ain't got to lift nothing. They ain't got to put no straps on. They ain't got to do none of that. Yeah. Your labor is going to be more than what the truck brings in profit. Especially if you got one truck. So when you try to do this 120 shit, I'm going to pay the driver 120, then I'm going to pay the helper 100. Or I'm going to pay the driver 130, and I'm going to pay the helper 120. Now you done found a way to cut your labor to $250. So you can make 250, 300. You expect to pay two people 10, 12-hour day carrying shit, 14, 15 stops, a combined total of $250 in 2025 so that you can make $300 out the guarantee. Because you got to make more because that's what you think. No, that's wrong. That's why you can't keep nobody. If you make $100 a day, that's cool. I want the person who told you that, you know, you was going to run up a bag if you went and got a truck and you put somebody in it. The blueprint that I'm giving you, what I'm telling you is right. Go ask J. Cole. J. Cole followed my blueprint. Never bought nothing from me. Never even had a coaching session. He just followed the content. There's one video I did where I broke everything down for Final Mile. And that man has 7 trucks right now. And he just sits back and laughs. That's the guy that always do the $100 super chats that troll Kirk and say, Kirk, go slap your daddy. He just do a $100 super chat. He followed the blueprint. He pays exceptionally well, and he makes a shit ton of money in volume. You'll never keep a driver or a helper paying like a crackhead. If I got a guaranteed route and it pays $1,000 a day doing, let's say, appliance or furniture delivery, let's say 15, 16, 17 stops, whatever. Averages about 10 hours a day. In my market, that driver easily making $250, $300 a day guaranteed. Helper easily making 200, 250. So let's say 500 rip. 50% of that money gone. So now it's my job to lean on the 3PL to ensure I get a tight ass route. You're not sending me way out into the boondocks. You know what? If we on the new and we come in, I might have to take the hit initially because we at the bottom of the totem pole, so we going to get the worst route. So now I'm in there. I'm trying to work my way up to pick the route that's close, that's tight. I need a dense route. Why? Because now I know my labor is going to be my labor. We doing Final Mile. We in Chicago. Cost of living is extremely high. I have to make sure I keep people, so I have to pay them well. That's a non-negotiable, bro. I'm going to pay 50% of that $1,000 guarantee is going straight to labor off the ripple. So where else can I figure out ways to cut? Now I'm finna start stepping on shit in the 3PL. I'm finna step on shit. Don't show up for your route. I'm finna undercut you. I'm finna do whatever I can do. Whoever got the best routes, I'm gunning for them. I can't negotiate with the pay. I need these guys to be here. I have to pay them handsomely. So that's a non-negotiable. Boom, that's out the way. I'm not worried about that. Where else can I cut? All right, I'm finna start stepping on shit. Don't show up. Let us recover your route one day. If you let me find any way to come take your food, that's what I'm going to do, because now I'm gunning for a dense route. Boom, we get a dense route. So boom, now my fuel cost done came down. I already know what I'm doing, so I didn't go out and buy no 2025. I went out and got me a 08, a 09. I got Migo in them. I got 2 mechanics, Migo in them. I'm in Chicago. It's plenty of truck repair places here. I ain't scared like some of these people let your favorite content creators scare y'all and tell y'all to go get these brand new trucks with this high overhead. No. I went and got me an old truck. You come here, you see people doing Final Mile. When you see Migo in them park all they Final Mile trucks that do deliveries here, they'll park them in the Lowe's parking lot. You looking at 2002 GMC cab overs. You looking at old C6s, old C7 with Caterpillar engines. Old C6s and old C7s. These Amigo and them ain't going buying no 2024 Zuzu cab overs. These trucks 20 years old. These trucks, their cost is so low, Migo and them put 3 people on their final mile route. But getting back to it, 50% is gone. I'm stepping on shit. Boom. So now I got a dense route because I ain't got you up out the way because you didn't know what you was doing. You was weak. We came in stomping on shit. Boom. So now I got a dense route. So now my fuel costing came down, right? My truck, I ain't worried about no truck. No, I ain't renting none of that dumb shit. My insurance is low because I don't have a new truck. So if I walk away and after I cash flow, let's say after all my expenses are done on a guaranteed $1,000 on average, I'm left with, let's say, $300. The business going to cash flow 2/3 of that. I'm still going to take the short end of the stick. Thinking down the future. Eventually, the truck going to break down. Taxes, unemployment taxes, Medicaid, my quarterly taxes. See, some of y'all don't know about quarterly taxes because you never paid them. You don't even know what the fuck they are. Incidentals, claims. I'm still taking the short end of the stick. If my average after all expenses is left are done on a guarantee of $1,000, I'm cash flowing 2/3 of that. Pay myself 1/3. I'm gonna take the small piece of the pie. Now I'm building my working capital. God forbid that no incidentals occur, that I'm gonna have to really tap into these reserves. The money is there to scale after about 3 to 6 months. Now we got enough money because I focused on the business to go out and acquire another truck cash. Wash, rinse, repeat. Those same 2 guys that I had working, they're still working. Why? Because the driver making 300, helper making 200, or the driver making 250, the helper making 200. And guess what? I know in 6 months to a year, the driver gonna be, hey Mark, I need to talk to you. I already know what to talk about. Yeah, man, I've been doing good, man. You see RXO, man, our reviews is good, man. Our ratings is high, man. We the top 3 in the 3PL. All right, give me a week. What you looking for? Man, Mark, I'm at 250 down, man. I mean, I really want 3. You give me 300 a day, you know what I'm saying? But if not, man, I'll take 275. You've been good, Mark. You've been good to me. I'm going to give them that 3. You know why? Because I already knew it was coming. I've been prepared for it anyway. I left enough room. So now that 2/3, it comes down a little bit. But guess what? That truck's still rolling. I'm still making money. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I never thought to get rich off this one truck. It's a book that I tell people to read, and only a few people have read it. It's called Made in America. I think everybody should read that book. Shout out to Blow Q Gaming. Appreciate this super chat.
Sweet.
Calm down. They don't want to listen, Mark. I love the content, by the way. Keep it up. Appreciate you. Appreciate that $100 super chat, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. There was another super chat here, too. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. Jeremy Cole, what's the name of the video? AJ Kobe, if you hear, it was a Final Mile video. I can't remember. It was from like 2-3 years ago. But Pippi or one of the moderators, if y'all in here, if you could post that that video link up, I appreciate it. I can't remember the name of it off the fly. But it was a final mile video. It was a whole video from like 2022. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, if you're out here, you're running a truck and you're taking home more than your driver, you doing shit ass backwards, big dog. And if anybody wants to tell you otherwise, they gonna send you off. And that's why you can't keep a driver. The profit margins in trucking are small. Very small. See, you can't look at running a business, right, from a business perspective like a paycheck, right? If you're going to step into the role of an entrepreneur and run a trucking business, then you have to understand that the margins are small. You can't look at the individual or the individuals that you're paying like individuals, because then you're going to start thinking from a personal level, thinking, man, I can't pay them. Man, if it's $300 left off their expenses, I'm just not going to pay them. Like, I got to make the ball. I'm going to take two. He going to take one. You can't look at it like that. It's just labor. Labor is a part of the cost. Period. And that's where a lot of people mess up at, bro. You know, they you know, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all post notifications. Thinking like if I pay more, I make less, you're thinking personally because you're thinking about the individual. Labor cost is just part of the expenses, bro. If you continue to pay like a crackhead, you're going to get crackhead results. If you continue to pay peanuts, you're going to get a bunch of monkeys doing monkey shit, monkey behavior, dumb shit. You know, a lot of the people, let's get even more candid. Let's get even more candid. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Last year, I talked to 2 or 3 people that had the same issue. They driver got caught smoking weed on the truck. 2 of them drivers got caught in a weigh station smoking weed. Some of the dumbest shit. And they trucking careers were over with. It happened 2 or 3 times last year where I've had people come to me for the same dumb shit. Got caught smoking weed. Get what you pay for. And I know weed is a tough thing to fight now. Trust me, I know. I remember I had weed is a never-ending battle. Matter of fact, you know who one of the persons was? He used to call up on the call-in show. Remember the guy from Chicago that used to be he used to do the financing over on Western. He called up like 2 or 3 times last year. When he scaled up and he got his second truck, the chick got caught smoking weed. I think that's what he said the last time he called up. That chick got caught smoking weed or some shit like that. But, you know, you got to pay well. You pay well, you get loyalty, you get reliability. You also get people that treat your truck like it's their own. Like, when you pay people well, the last thing they want to do is fuck up a good thing. It's just like if you a dude and you got a chick. If you treat the chick like shit, she may treat you like shit. She may not treat you like shit in front of your face, but behind your back, she gonna do the dun-to-dun on your goof ass. Shit's the same way. If you treat a person good and you pay them fairly, they're not gonna want to mess up a good thing. If you treat them like shit by paying them like shit behind your back, when they out on the road or when they out in the field, they're not going to exhibit the behavior of someone who cares about what they're doing, care about your equipment, care about your company, care about how the customers perceive your company based on their actions, they're not going to care, bro. Let's get into the cost of cheap labor. How much does it cost you really when you hire people for cheap labor? If you got a driver quitting every 3 months, how much does that really cost you? Do you think you're spending more money if you're having to source new drivers, find them, hire them, train them, than if you just kept a driver? The drivers that damage shit because they're not motivated to go above and beyond. The drivers that are angry all the time. So if you're in a niche where you're dealing with consumers like moving or like final mile or like even like dock to dock shit, curbside, or even OTR, you know, people who don't get paid well, they have this fucked up attitude, right? That's like when you go to fast food restaurants, you know, even in today's time where fast food workers make decent money, with the current cost of living and inflation rising, it still can't keep up, right? But they have this piss poor attitude. You know, people get up and they do what they got to do. Some people get up and they do what they got to do, even if they're not satisfied because they may not be getting paid in their eyes good enough to be motivated to have this happy attitude. But you also have to keep that in mind, especially if you're in a niche where you're dealing directly with consumers, going into people's homes, moving like that. All, you know, it can leave a stain on your company. And it costs you money down the road. If you go in and let's say you doing final mile, let's say you're doing moving, and your guys are going in, they're doing the job, they're not damaging anything, but their attitudes are piss poor because they're not motivated, because they're not being paid. It's 2025, you paying movers $15 an hour, so they have this messed up attitude. It's a high likelihood that this customer is not going to call you back. There's a high likelihood that this customer is not going to refer you to their family members, their friends, their peers, their coworkers. A person's attitude, right? The way a person carries themselves, their demeanor, right, can be a big part of if a customer wants to hire you again. And one of the main reasons a lot of people have bad attitudes is because they're not satisfied with what they're being paid. When drivers don't show up to work because they're not being paid well, and let's say you have a dedicated contract, some people may not give you enough time to source a new driver. It'll be a guy like me who's waiting and taking it, that's going to take advantage of the fact that your driver didn't show up. I'm going to cover your route, and after I cover your route, I'm going to be lobbying for that bitch. A lot of the companies that will give you a dedicated route, they still have somebody to report to too, which is the retailer. They're not stupid. They know you're not going to be able to find somebody overnight, so you lose your route. It costs you money. We can never put a price on the cost, the true cost of the amount of money you lose by continuously paying people like crackheads. There's other scenarios. I go, lost time. The truck's sitting because you're constantly having to find new drivers. Physicals, interviews, training, lost sleep. We don't talk about the stress of an entrepreneur Not that one, you know, you can be really stressful with one truck, but if you're ever in a position where you get a chance to scale up and you have a multitude of trucks and a multitude of people, the stress becomes heightened as well. That's part of the cost. A good driver that stays is always going to be better than a cheaper driver that quits. I'd rather keep a good driver and give them a raise than lose a driver because I'm consistently paying them like a goddamn crackhead and having to source new drivers over and over and over again. It's crazy that a lecture like this has to even happen. But then again, I have to remind myself, you know, a lot of people just aren't business savvy, and the shit that they're consuming is just stupid. So, paying handsomely. I don't care what the going rate is. Listen, all this going rate shit that you hear on the internet, as long as it's $2 a mile and all that dumb shit, think about the people that say that dumb shit. Anybody that tells you something as far as what you should be doing that has no idea, they don't know the cost or nothing associated as it pertains to money with your business, why do you listen to them? Don't ever come to me and say, man, Mark, well, I was on Facebook group and they said as long as I take $2 a mile, it should be fine. This is what I'm gonna do after you say it.
Yo, goof ass. Goofy as hell.
Because then the next thing I'm gonna say, well, somebody on Facebook message said group told you as long as you take $2 a mile, you should be fine. Let me ask you this. Did they ask you what it costs you to run your business? No. So how the fuck and why the fuck would you think that shit was right? Anybody that tells you what the going rate is, I don't want to hear that shit, especially as it pertains to pay. Whatever the market rate is, pay more. Even if it cuts into your profit margin. Remember, at the end of the day, the business don't give a fuck about you as an individual. The business wants to make money, right? You have to take yourself out of the equation. The business needs cash flow. The business needs to continuously make money. If you have to pay over market rate to keep and sustain a driver and it cuts into your take home, then that's what you have to be. You are the sacrificial lamb to keep the wheels rolling. You are the last person to get paid. You are the person that has to take the hits for the betterment of the business. This is what you signed up for. If you want something a little more consistent with less uncertainty, because there's uncertainty in anything you do, but in business, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? Because you don't know what's down the road. If you go work a job, as long as you go to work and you do what you're supposed to do, and as long as the company doesn't fold, you know, when you show up Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, if you do everything right, you do everything within the scope of your tasks, you do them to the best of your ability and so on and so forth, for the most part, you're good. But as a business owner, you don't know what tomorrow holds. And you always have to prepare for the unexpected. So you need to keep the wheels rolling. And if that requires you to pay over market value, then so be it. Never pay under. Always pay over. Incentives. We're living in a time period where competition is even more fierce. You're not just competing amongst other single owner operators with 1 or 2 or 3 trucks. You're also competing against the big boys. And I'm not talking about the mega carriers, I'm Talking about people with 100 trucks, people with 50 trucks, people with 20, 25, people with 15 trucks, people with 8 trucks, right? So incentivize people. Incentivize them. Give them bonuses, right? Give them longevity pay. Obviously, give them raises. 6 months, give them a raise. 12 months, give them a raise. However you want to do it, every 12 months, whatever the case may be. If you have to give benefits, give benefits. If it cuts into your profit margin, it's just the cost of doing business. The object is to keep the wheels rolling so the business can stay in business. You have to be creative in today's landscape in order to keep people. With no people, you have no business. If you're not going to be willing to do what you need to do to keep people, then you need to go find a business that doesn't revolve around labor help, something that you can go run up a bag and only have to depend on yourself. If you're going to start a business where you have to rely on people, then you're going to have to compete in order to keep them. So you might need to incentivize people. All right. As time goes on, the competition is going to get fierce. So you're going to have to figure out ways to incentivize people. Respect people's times. Shout out to TFE for becoming a member. Respect people's time. If you expect a person to work 10 hours, if you expect a person to work 12 hours, then pay them for that. Don't have a person work 10 or don't have a person work 12, but then pay them like they work 6 or 7 or 8. Respect people's time. Invest in people. Invest in people. What is one of the first investments that you will invest into a new hire? Training. I ripped a guy, and I don't know, he probably still watches the channel. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm not going to say his name. But if he's watching, he'll know who I'm talking about. Consistently put people in his truck and didn't train them. So you mean to tell me you found a guy, you interviewed him or whatever you did, and you just handed him the keys. My question is, and then you come to me and you tell me about some dumb shit they did, and then I'm like, well, did you train him? What do you mean? Yeah, I talked to him. No, this guy that you got over the road in your truck, did you train him? Meaning, did you get on the truck and run with him for a week? Did you go over the road with him? No, well, I got a tracker on the truck. What the fuck does a tracker have to do with anything? Did you go out over the road and train the guy? No. Why? What? Why? What expectations? You haven't set any expectations because you didn't take them out. Listen, if I'm running an over-the-road trucking business and I hire you to go over the road in my truck, depending on where I'm at in scale, if I'm still a small company and I put you behind the wheel of my truck, I'm going out with you for a week. I'm going to spend the money to train you, right? I'm going to put us in a hotel because we're not sleeping. I'm not sleeping in a box truck with a stranger. So that means I'm going to have to front the cost to put us in a hotel while we're out training. And I'm going to show you what I want from you. The reason why people tear up people's trucks is because they don't go out over the road with them. So when we pull up to this first load, I'm going to show you how I want you to open my fucking doors. Make sure when you open the doors, you lock it into place right here. Don't be swinging my doors open like that. You know, make sure you lock the pallet jack down. I don't want it sliding all over the back of the truck. Hey, man, ease off the accelerator, big dog. You don't have to mash on the gas like that, bro. You don't have to mash. Ease onto the accelerator, bro. This ain't a goddamn Hellcat. Ease into the accelerator. The reason why your fucking brakes, you having to get brakes so often for the driver because you didn't realize, because you never went out with the driver to train him to realize that he was a heavy foot and he was his hard. Hey, bro, why are you slamming on the brakes so hard, bro? You know it's a load back there. Slow down, ease onto the brakes, big dog. Why are you mashing the brakes so hard? You need to finesse the brakes. when I go out to train somebody, I'm studying them. I'm looking at what they're doing and I'm correcting it. Because guess what? If the shit don't work out the first week and I see something, then when we come back, hey bro, I'm gonna call you. And I'm gonna go find somebody else. You go on Indeed and you find somebody and you just give them the keys and send them off, and then you come to me and then you complain about all the dumb shit that they did because you never went out on the road with them. Bro, go take you a shower, bro. Nah, you can't be up in my truck funky and shit, bro. Nah, when you gonna take you a shower, big dog. Bro, get all that shit up out the window, bro. After you eat and shit, don't put all this shit up in the window, bro. I don't want all that shit up in the window. Whatever the case may be, no matter how big or how small. We go to a dot. This is how you talk to people. Bro, why you got flip-flops on, bro? Don't ever be on my truck with flip-flops. Get you a nice pair of comfortable sneakers, bro. Don't let me catch you with no flip-flops on, bro. Well, I see truckers online, bro. This ain't truckers online. You work for my company and my rules, right? You're going to have an SOP. You have to have shoes on, bro. Why? Because I don't want a pallet to fall on you and then you be looking to sue me. Because you got flip-flops on in the back of the truck moving pallets around and shit. Mark, the guy's suing me because the pallet fell on his toes. He had on flip-flops. Did you train him? Did you have an SOP? Did you tell him you didn't want? No, I never trained him. Well, good luck with the lawsuit then, pimp. You know what I mean, guys? And I'm thinking about one person. I'm not going to say his name. But he hired this old guy, and it's just like, bro. And then he did it again. I'm like, bro, why don't you go out over the road and train these guys? And I already know why people don't want to go out on the road. Especially the guys that got one truck. Because they don't want to do the work. You have to invest into the people. And the first initial investment is training. Training costs. That's why I'm telling you, it's cheaper to keep her. You over the road, guys, you hire somebody, you have to go over the road with them at least for a week. That's why you keep getting fucked up with the people that you hiring. It's going to cost you because you're going to have to pay for hotels and shit like that, your time and this, that, and the third. Yes. But it's an investment that you can't deny and that you can't avoid. You have to train your people and you have to go out on the road. Local guys, same thing. You have to get on the truck unless you're at scale and you have a training crew that you can funnel people through as you onboard them. You have to get on the truck. You have to funnel them through the training crews. If they're doing final mile, they're doing moving. How can a person be successful at maneuvering if you never showed them how to maneuver? I got a lady in my Discord right now, and I be on her because she can't move shit. So I'm like, how are you going to be successful? I don't give a fuck about all this shit you showed me online. I don't care about none of that shit. Until you lift a motherfucking refrigerator, until you lift the couch and carry it up 3 flights of stairs and know how to twist and turn it and know, okay, well, I got this guy and I got this guy. This guy has more upper body strength, so he probably should be at the top and the other guy should be at the bottom because when this person gets to the top of the stairs, the wall is right here. He's not going to be able to set that bitch down. He has to have enough upper body strength to transition it from here to here and twist that bitch around to the other stairwell to go up the landing. How would you know that if you've never been out there to do this shit? How do you know how to use the equipment if you never used it? Why do you think you got all these bloopers on YouTube? Stupid motherfucker doing a first job to do a 1-in-1 for a goddamn stackable washer and dryer. The stupid retard it was a detachable stacker washer and dryer. But the thing when they put the dryer on the top and slid it into the groove, they didn't put the screw in there to bolt it down. So these two retards strapped up, and when they coming down the stairs, the goddamn dryer just slid out the groove and fell. Nobody never trained them. Even with the shoulder straps, if you don't know how to position the shoulder straps when you ascending stairs, then it's going to, like, bro, all this stuff, you have to train people. It's the first initial investment that you are putting into a new hire. That initial investment will save you a lot of money down the road and a lot of headache if you do it. People come to me, man, my driver, man, he always need brakes because he's slamming on the brakes. But you didn't know that because you never went out with him to get a visual and to observe him while you were training with him to observe his behavior. Man, I keep getting reports on my driver about how he talking to people at pickups and drops. Yeah, because you didn't go out with him and observe him while you was training him, and you didn't give him a pitch or a speech on how to present himself or what to say when he went into these places. A script. You didn't give him a script. You didn't tell him how to talk to people. You didn't train him on, the fact that, when you do go into these places, a lot of time people are rude, but, we here to pick a drop, and don't let that shit get to you. And then this motherfucker want to sit up there and argue with people. You didn't go on the road with him. He told you he didn't smoke weed or whatever he did to finesse and get around the weed. But man, you could tell a motherfucker who got the itchy and scratchy, you hired a motherfucking dope fiend. Like what buddy that came on the call show, I think was the same buddy. He said, man, the chief found foil and burnt foil and spoons and shit on his truck when the truck came back. Yeah, you didn't go out there and train the motherfucker because you didn't know you hired a dope fiend. They cleaned themselves up initially when they came and talked to you, and you gave that dope fiend the keys, and that dope fiend was out on the road tooting that shit. Now the truck then came back. You getting all these reports and all these complaints and shit. Man, what was that episode where Buddy came back and then the truck came back? You got burnt fucking spoons and all type of shit you found on the truck. Yeah, that motherfucker in that shooting up. See, if you would have went out on the road with the person, you would have seen the motherfucker after a day doing this shit. And all that shit. And this dude from Chicago, he know a dope fiend when you see. I'd have been in the passenger side. Mm-hmm. Hey, so do me a favor. We got a truck stop about, 20 miles up the road. What we're going to do is I'm going to switch. We're going to switch. Once we stop at that truck stop, I'm going to go ahead and get you lunch, right? And then we're going to fuel up, and then I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it the rest of the way, big dog, all right? No, you good. I'm going to give you a break. I just need to get us there. And I'm going to take it over, and that's going to be that. On the truck, tweaking. I swear for God, we had somebody that hired a dope fiend that came up on the call-in show. Didn't know he hired a dope fiend, and then when the truck came back, the spoons was burnt. The foil and the spoons was burnt. I had another motherfucker dope fiend. I found out. I ain't gonna say who it was. I ain't gonna say who was. Found this motherfucker just tweaking, just energetic, geeking. Like, damn, bro, you was quiet before and you was down, and then you rolled through Memphis and you came out of Memphis tweaking. Boy, you hit Memphis, you came out of Memphis, boy, you in the Discord tweaking. You good. What's to you, fam? What's to you? Shit, part of the training is the observation. You observing to see if this motherfucker built for this shit. You observing to see if this is the individual you want working for your company. Y'all just put anybody on your shit and then complain that they did some dumb shit. First thing I say, did you train them? What you mean? Or did you go on the road with them? No. You gonna put a goddamn dope fiend on your truck. Fuck you talk about. Who else you thought was gonna work for them crumbs? Who else you thought was gonna work for them crumbs? You done put a homeless dope fiend on your truck. This motherfucker got a place to sleep now. He's sleeping on the truck with his funky ass. He got a roof over his head. You putting some money in his pocket. And every time you send him through, you wondering why he off the grid. Wait a minute, man. The highway that way. Why the truck going that way? Because when he was at the truck stop, he know who the tweakers is. Man, where they got that shit in town? Yeah, about a mile up the road. Make a right turn. Go around back. Knock 3 times. They got the shit over there. They got the shit. You wondering that goddamn truck stop right there off the side of the highway. Why is he going a mile in the opposite direction? Because he had to get that shit before he went back on the road. Now, when you come into the Discord and then you ask me like, damn, you telling me the story and I'm listening. And then, man, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out every time he was leaving the truck stop, he would go in the opposite direction for about a mile or two. The truck would stop for like 5 or 4 minutes and then he'd come back. Oh, yeah, he went to the dope spot before he left town, pimp. He went to the dope spot. Let me ask you this. Before you talked to him the night before, was he like real like low and like depressed and like monotone? And then when he got on the road, maybe about an hour after he got on the road, he was geek. Yeah. How you know? Oh yeah, man, you done hired you a dope fiend. What you pay him? $120 a day. Hey, you done hired you a dope fiend. You done put a roof over their head, put some money in their pocket, and gave them access to the dope across the country. Listen, they trying all the dope across the country, pimp. God damn, bro. God damn. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Recognizing the people, bro. You gotta recognize people, bro. You gotta let them know that they doing a good job, bro. You have to let them know that they doing a good job. Bro, what episode was that when dude said he got his truck back and it was burnt spoons and foil all over the goddamn truck, bro? I gotta go find that episode, man. Bro. Recognition, bro. The people that do good, bro, you have to recognize them, bro. Don't be like a robot with these folk, bro. don't be. Hey, don't be like a robot with these people, man. Man, let them know when they do a good job. Send them lunch, man. Cash app them $50 one day. Say, man, lunch on me, bro. Reward them, encourage them. Recognize them when they do something right. Thank them. Always say thank you. Thank you goes a long way, man. Even if you don't mean it, bro. Just sound like you mean it, all right? Thank you goes a long way. Don't be dry. Be kind. Thank him. Pay him. Now, this ain't about how much you paying them. We talking about just making sure you pay them. Whatever your issues is, whatever your plights is, it ain't got shit to do with them. Make sure you pay these people. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. The truth hurt, but it's going to set you free now. Now, remember this. People talk. Drivers talk. You cannot hide a bad reputation when it comes to business. If you're a bad business person and you out there, the word going to get around. So you don't want to, piss drivers off because drivers talk. Especially if you're one of these people where your name might be ringing bells. And you don't want it to ring bells for the wrong reasons. You don't want it to ring bells because you're paying like crackheads and you treating people bogus and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're gonna have a hard time finding people. You don't want your name to be attached to this is the person or this is the company that pays crackhead wages. Stop being cheap, bro. Stop being cheap and start being smart. Stop being cheap. If you're running a truck and if you're running it correctly, your labor 9 times out of 10, if you're running it correctly, is going to be higher than what you're going to be able to pay yourself. I'm just being honest with you. I know your favorite content creator probably going to tell you something otherwise, but I mean, think about it. The numbers is numbers. The numbers are right. If you follow my blueprint, the margins are the margins, bro. You're not going to keep a driver if you pay him like a crackhead. I'm happy with making, let's say, if and I gave this example, if all the expenses are done and the only thing that's left is cash flow, driver, and then take home, the driver's going to get way more than me. Because I have to keep the driver, bro. So stop being cheap. If you want to have a business, you want to keep a business, you have to invest in people. The people are what make the business go. Or you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck going onto these like them people that we see on Facebook groups looking for drivers. The last place I would look for a driver. Most of the people that when people be coming to me and they be complaining about drivers and they be telling me these crazy stories about how they driver got caught smoking weed or how they driver was, I think even Buddy said the driver who was doing the dope on the truck, I think he said he found her in a Facebook group. A lot of these crackhead drivers be on Facebook. Why would you go to Facebook to find a driver? Stop looking for drivers on Facebook groups. All right. Facebook seems to be the place where all the crackheads is at. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. Most of the people that come to me with horrific driver stories, one of the questions I ask them is, where did you find them? And they say Facebook. All right. I'm done, man. Cause that's it, bro. I think I touched home. Tony Jones said, stop sending those dope heads here. They're going to get served. They're going to get served wherever they go. Listen, it's a trap everywhere, bro. It's a trap everywhere. And the thing about a dope head is wherever the trap is, they're going to find it. The thing is, Tony, stop putting dope fiends on your truck. Stop putting dope fiends on your truck. If you don't put a dope fiend on your truck, then they ain't going to go look for it. A dope fiend gonna find it. It don't matter how big or how small the town is. They're gonna find that dope. So it is what it is. Peace River said you have to let go of somebody taking too many smoke breaks. Employees feel more confident when they are properly trained and exude the company culture. That's true. You said low key, that's why you can't hire family members. Why is that? Because they take advantage. We say you dropping gems, inspiration for any business show. Appreciate that. But she from Chicago. You see that Chicago language. She said he damn near done pay him for a jab of work. That's some Chicago shit. We say that they paid him for a jab of work. How you know a motherfucker from the crib? You dig what I'm saying? Tyson. Man, I got a car hauling business. It's hard to get people to do this work. Car hauling business is a really, 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 really intricate business. It's a business where you have to hire someone that's very, very careful. It's a lot of crawling in and crawling out. I don't know if you got an enclosed trailer or not, but man, you never know what type of car you may be hauling, and that you may get commissioned to haul. And man, that's a tough business to be in, man. A lot of liability at stake, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to car hauling. Man, people finesse a lot of shit nowadays, bro. You could do a drug test. This ain't the episode, and I'm not gonna never do an episode on how I don't do drugs, but like people can finesse shit now, bro. Especially weed, bro. Unless they pulling like hair follicles and some shit like that, man, people can finesse that. People been finessing that pee shit for years, bro. Um, um, let me see. Shout out to Double R. I think if you're doing over the road, I think one good solid week, I think is good. One good solid week, I think is good. I think that's enough time to observe, and then obviously you have to make sure that you book the right shit so that you can find what you're looking for, because you are also are observing while you're training. You're training, but you're observing behavior as well. Because when you go out for training, if you see some shit and you just like this shit ain't gonna work, then you don't want to force it. So it's also an observation period as well. I think a good week. A lot of people don't train. Mark, what they do is make you responsible for everything that goes wrong with the truck by making you sign a lease. What are we talking about? Because I scrolled up. Where was I talking about? What was I talking about when you put this comment in the chat? Peach River saying nobody handling his equipment without training. You said somebody threw you in there with a little orientation. Shout out to Roger Lacey for that super chat. Appreciate that. Sorry if I missed it.
Sweet.
Now, as you said, I really appreciate you, Mark, for your content breakdown of business. I literally use your concepts for everyday life. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, I like the Real Talk series, man, because I'm going to say this before I get out of here, because, I think, like, I realized something, very early on with content creation. I realized that a lot of the outside of the fact of the shit that I always talk about is a lot of the misinformation, lack of experience, especially in this space. I mean, if you watch content creators, this ain't a shot. Listen, people get upset when I say this, and I like big up me and Kirk as far as the experience. And I know people get in their feelings, but we can't help when we started. We can't help what our background is. Let's say, because like I have a business degree, like we can't help what our background is and how it may or our tenure is and how it may separate us from other people. What I noticed, what helped me to transcend is just, be straightforward regardless. Like I stopped trying to be politically correct 2.5 years ago. It didn't take me long into content creation to realize, fuck this political correct shit, bro. Fuck like trying to be politically correct and, and produce this shit. Just talk like I'm talking to my homies. The Real Talk series is me and my inner thoughts. These are the things that I would say to you if we grew up together and you were coming to me for trucking information. So when I speak into the camera in this series, it's going to be a little bit different from like the call-in show, because the call-in show, a person is coming to me and they're most of the time they're in a situation. So I may do some theatrics in there, a little satire in there, but I'm helping somebody. These are my inner thoughts based on topics that I've always wanted to talk about, but I might have held back on because of maybe the sensitivity level or maybe because I thought people would, but I just really at this point, it don't even matter no more. I'm just going to say what it is. So I like the Real Talk series. It's doing exceptionally well. I think when, this niche starts to pick back up going into prime time, around September, October, when volume of content creation as far as the viewership starts to go back up, I think it'll resonate with a lot more people that are coming in. If we can catch those new people that are coming in, that are starting to watch content going into peak season, and then again tax season that are coming in, this is the type of content that they need to consume. Obviously, the people that uh uh are going to be sensitive, they're going to say the dumb shit like they always do. You're a hater. You can start a box truck business with $3,500. How come you ain't out here? You in the house. But then the people that are intelligent or have some level of intelligence, they'll understand and say, yo, this shit makes sense. I consume some shit over on TikTok. I consume some shit over on Instagram, and it did sound too good to be true, but this shit sounds more like the real deal. I'm going to take heed to this information and I'm going to apply it, right? I'm not going to go into this shit blind like I was just about to. I'm going to take this shit more serious. And I just think this is the type of shit that people need to hear, so. Oh, you a Peace River, you a her? My bad. When I said his equipment, it crossed my mind. I'm like, man, I wonder if this is a her. But it just happened to be a her. So shout out to Peace River. Peace River is a her. I'm new in New Jersey. I can't find a driver to save my life. 6 years car hauling business. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's gonna be rough, especially for car hauling, bro. I like what I do, but I can't find work that hard car. Find one already driving to deserve a better opportunity. You got an open 2-car trailer? And that's a lot of training. See, when you hire a driver, it's a lot of training with that car hauling business. That's a lot of training, bro. Lot of training, bro. Shout out to Mr. Jones. Is this Mr. Jones? Is this the OG Mr. Jones? Where you been at, Mr. Jones? We ain't seen you in a minute, pimp. I was up there last two, took possession of another truck. Oh, that's right. You did say you came up this way. This is Mr. Jones from Orange Mound. Shout out to Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, you got to click the link sometimes, man. People be asking about you. They like when me and you come up and talk. Now, I can't talk to you today, Mr. Jones. I got to get to the gym in a minute. I'm doing 2 a days right now because I'm getting ready for a marathon. But one day, maybe one call-in show day, you can hit the link and we can rap for a minute. We ain't rapped in a while. People like when you come up. The last time you came up though, Mr. Jones, when Buddy was up here, you got to talking that other stuff. I don't know about that, Mr. Jones. I don't want to talk about that shit. That whatever you was talking about, that other shit. I only want to talk about trucking stuff, maybe some little life lessons, some OG game and shit like that. So whenever I do another call-in show, or you watching, another show where I drop the link, go ahead and hit that link, Mr. Jones, and let us know what you got going on. You said you here. Yeah, I don't want to talk today, Mr. Jones. I don't want to talk because when you come up, that's going to be an easy 2-hour conversation. And I just ain't got 2 hours to give you today. I ain't got 2 hours right now. I got to get to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Race day is coming up. So we got to make sure we ready for it. You see, I'm losing weight. My cardio, that's the most cardio I did in my life. The first place you start to lose weight is in your face. So even though I'm still pumping muscle, so I do cardio in the morning and then I lift weights in the evening, but I be burning so much cardio, man, my face, man. But once we get through this marathon, bro, I'm gonna gain my weight back. I'm gonna gain my weight back, bro. We just gotta get through it. Yeah, Mr. Jones is really cool. Mr. Jones is really cool. Really, really good guy. Shark said he still laugh at the $5,000 shit. Bro, listen, man. Listen. You know, people be coming to that video and they be complaining, but they won't debate me. I remember what year was that? Like 2 years ago, where I was putting up a nickel for a debate. Then I put up 10 grand. And I think I got all the way to $15,000. And at that moment, that's when I realized that a lot of people just be talking. Because I figured out when I put up that first initial 5 grand, and this was like at the content creators, I thought one of them content creators was going to take the bait because they wanted to just argue everything I said as it pertained to like trucking, and nobody took it. Then I put it up to 10. Nobody took it. And I put it up to 15. It's just, at the end of the day, bro, even with like the viewers and shit, when people think that they can come into a business, especially trucking, with $5,000 or less and be successful is asinine to me. It's gonna be more than a nickel to get in. So you can apply that crackhead analogy. That's like a crackhead analogy. That's like a crackhead business mentality. Like, bro, I get the fact that the struggle, some guy tried to argue me, man, Mark, you act like you ain't come for the struggle. Bro, I did. I started in a worse situation than you. If you are coming into this industry and you had $5,000, I don't advise it, but that was a better start than me. I started with less than that. I started with what I had, and I worked my way up. But by the time I was able to acquire my first truck, I bought the truck cash and had a bag of money. The problem is a lot of people don't want to go through the process, and they don't want to go through the steps of building up to that point. Why? Because it's not instant. It takes time. The groundwork, the crawling before you walk, all that tedious shit, you know, doing all the little small labor intensive jobs for peanuts, whatever the case may be. Being disciplined enough to, you know, get up every day, work hard, and put that money to the side and stack that money. Being disciplined enough to, you know, not engage and entertain when your friends call you to go out and say, nah, you working towards something. All that shit that comes along with it, people can't hack that, right? They want that instant shit. So they come up with a quick nickel. They already been sold this dream, and they thinking they can do it with that. And then they saying, man, we from the struggle. We got to start with something. But unfortunately, the business don't give a fuck about I'm from the struggle. And when I try to explain this shit to ignorance, especially people that come from TikTok and Instagram and shit like that, it gets met with a lot of flack. So I'm just not finna engage with it no more, right? Because as history has shown, right, we've been doing content long enough that majority of those people were the ones that are brave enough that challenge me on that, and they do try it. You see them come up all the time. Man, Joe, I didn't like you at first, man. I just really, what you was saying, but man, you was right. You was right. Even Great Polo, shout out to Great Polo. Great Polo said when he first saw my content 3 years ago, he didn't like me. Midwest said when he first saw my content, he didn't like me. A bunch of people said they didn't like me when they first started watching my content, but as time went on, everything that I said came into fruition. Trucking ain't all peaches and cream and rosy. Like life ain't peaches and cream and rosy. That's why I understand, like, when you tell people the harsh reality, why do I need to tell you about if everything goes your way, you're going to make a shit ton of money? Like, cool. If you're making money and everything is good, then what is there to talk about? Just keep doing what you're doing. People want to know about what to do when this situation happens or how to avoid this situation. A lot of people don't like uh, to hear the harsh reality because it's what they perceive it as negative, but it's not negative, it's reality. Those are the same people that run from their shadow. These are the same people that don't like responsibility. And this is like what I said yesterday. These are the people that are ultimately don't own shit. Anytime a motherfucker come saying that dumb shit and they have that complacent mentality and they say stuff like the $5,000 shit, you can tell outside of the fact that they're ignorant, they don't own shit, they don't have experience. They not gonna make it, bro. In life, there's challenges. In life, things happen. People die. People get hit by cars. People have car accidents. People have, things they have to replace in their home. Shit happens. It's life. I'd rather have a conversation with someone if I'm going into a business and I'm looking for advice. I don't want to hear just the good shit, bro. I don't give a fuck about the good shit. If it's good, it's good. Tell me about the shit that I need to avoid, or tell me about the shit that could and will happen and how to get through it. That's what's going to make me. What I want to know about the good shit for? Being prepared for all the harsh reality of trucking and understanding it and potentially avoiding it is going to help me get to the good days quicker. When I get to the good days, it's going to help me maintain the good days. It's going to build the character. It's going to build the individual so that when these unforeseen situations do arise, I don't be the person that's coming on the internet complaining about it. I know how to handle it. All right. So at the end of the day, I'm going to always give you the harsh reality, whether you like it or not. And I know it's going to get met with backlash from some people, but it is what it is. Mr. Professor, I started listening to Stick With Us Delivery, the Tony guy, and I haven't got no game like I got here. I was damn near about to waste $1,500 shaking my head. I got mad respect for you, Mark. Were you the person who emailed me the other day that wanted to come up and somebody emailed me or messaged me the other day about that guy? I don't know. A lot of people seem like they got an issue with him, man. His name come up a lot. I know who he is, but I don't know him personally. His name do come up a lot. Somebody emailed or messaged me about him. I don't know, bro. Lohi said you used to play with their money. So yo Lohi, when I say I play with their money, clearly either you missed it. So when I say play with their money, you probably a middle American, so you don't get it. When I say I play with a person money, doesn't mean I didn't pay him. That means I didn't schedule him. For instance, if you do some dumb shit and you work for me, some real dumb shit, or you piss me off, I'm just not going to put you on my schedule. That's play with your money. Don't mean I'm not going to pay you. It means I'm going to short your check. That means I'm just not going to put you on my schedule. So when I say play with your money, that means I'm going to take you off my schedule for a week. I'm going to let you suffer so that you can think about what you did. And depending on how I feel a week later, here's the thing, Lohi. there has to be punishment, right? There has to be corrective action. So just because you treat a person well, because there's always going to be an ignorant motherfucker that try to challenge you. So let me get this motherfucker together real quick. If you pay a person well, it's always going to be a motherfucker that's going to try to challenge you. And if you challenge me and I'm doing right by you and you think you want to run my shit or you want to do something that you weren't trained to do and it's costing me money, or you think you want to try to push your way through some shit or some lean on some shit, I'm going to show you what it is. It's called corrective action. Now, my form of corrective action is taking you off my schedule. I'm going to hurt your pockets. So, right. You want to make it seem like I'm talking about something else. But no. You fuck up, you coming off the schedule. You're going to get paid whatever you worked for thus far. You're going to get that. But the next week or the next day unto the foreseeable future, you're off the schedule. Why would I allow somebody to continue to fuck some shit up? Why would, if it gets to the point where I'm taking you off the schedule, then that means something was done that was detrimental. You're absolutely right. People will try to take your words and twist them up. Especially people that don't have a facey thing right here. They don't have a face thing. They'll take your words and try to twist them up. You're right. If you come to my business and you fuck some shit up and it gets to the point where corrective action needs to be taking place, I'm taking you off my schedule. If I'm paying you an egregious amount of money to do a job and you decide to roll a dolly across a hardwood floor and you didn't put a runner down, and then a claim comes back, and then we investigate, and then we find out that you rolled the dolly, your lazy ass rolled the dolly across the hardwood floor. So you rolled the dolly out the truck, down the ramp, onto the street, up the drivewalk, onto the sidewalk, and a little piece of cement got into it, and then you rolled it across the hardwood floor, and it's a line going all the way to wherever the room is. You didn't put no runner down, and you just did it because you thought it was a quick whoop, bam, thank you, man, in and out. And after the investigation, now I got a claim. And you've been trained to put a runner down. You've been trained not to roll a dolly in a customer's house on hardwood floor, and it's costing me, I'm going to play with your money. So middle American that tries to misconstrue words, play with your money means I'm taking you off my schedule. So now you don't have a check next week because you're not earning, because you're not on the schedule. Doesn't mean you're not going to get paid. Now, depending on what the claim may be and what was in the contract, you may not get paid. All right? All right. Shout out to Shelby Scott. At least say they hear what they want to hear and they lack comprehension. A lot of people lack comprehension, and then a lot of people are just low-key trolls. You got haters. You know, people will watch from the sidelines, quietly won't say nothing. They'll get offended. Like, I get it all. Man, you ain't out here. You in the crib. You ain't got no kids. So they're going to always try to twist and tangle and shit because low-key they just sitting at the crib in their feelings because they trying to figure this shit out. They hear because they know the information is good, but they have a underlying hate or contentment or whatever the shit is for me personally. They hear because they know the information is good, but Me as an individual, nah, they don't fuck with me. I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. So then sometimes some people who just sit in the back and they just can't control themselves, so then they'll say some shit like this. And I've talked about this plenty of times. If you do some dumb shit, I'm gonna take you off my schedule. I finesse it by saying I'm gonna play with your money. I'm from the crib. I'm hip. So I'm gonna say it with some swag. I'm gonna play with your money. Take you off my schedule. That's it. But a middle American will think play with your money means don't pay you less. No, I've said it plenty of times. Play with your money. When Rob came up 2.5 years ago, he said, man, I learned from you. We'll play with their money. I'm gonna take on the schedule. Moving Cover Us, we just had this conversation, same shit. It's just a term. We just take you off the schedule. That's it, bro. Two weeks no pay, depending when you come back. That depends on what you did too. And it depends on how I feel after a week. You see what I'm saying? All right. I'm finna get out of here. Time to hit the gym. Never know. I might run into one of my haters in the street. So I gotta make sure I get my workout in. You never know. You hear what I'm saying? The information you share has even helped me as a contractor and business analyst keep doing your thing. Bro, yeah, I'm always do my thing. But I ain't worried about nobody that be talking crazy, bro. You gonna get that when you do content creation, bro. You gonna get that when you do content creation. Let me see something. Let's see something. I want to see something real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me show you something. Uh, uh, all right, man. I'm out of here, man. Till next time, y'all. Peace. Gotta hit the gym.